Dire team ban. Virtus.Pro's turn to ban. Dire team ban. Virtus.Pro's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Lion.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Vengeful spirit.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yep. I'm also surprised by any hero instead of Phoenix at this stage in the metagame. Phoenix is a hero that I just expect to come out early in the draft. Virtus.Pro certainly have been tangling with the top teams at Epicenter, the teams that were using Phoenix, so they'll be aware of that. Power Rangers, I'm not sure. Maybe it's not part of their arsenal just yet, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you did an introduction of the teams that match, but the interesting thing to me about Power Rangers, people always talk about in the CIS scene how Navi's taking Empire players, Empire becomes a feeder team. Power Rangers to me is like the ultimate talent feeder. If you look at all the top teams in the region, all 4 of the top CIS teams, as far as I'm concerned right now, Empire, Navi, Virtus.Pro, Vega, they all have players who at some stage played in Power Rangers and kind of got big through Power Rangers. You got FN at Vega, you got FNG at Virtus.Pro, Ditcherance and Echo at Navi, Scandal, King R at Empire, all players who used to play in Power Rangers, and for me it's kind of always been the story of Power Rangers that they trade blows with top teams, and just when they're getting to the point where you feel like they've become a top team themselves, some of their key talent gets snatched up. So it's kind of a sad story, and in that sense, to me, I see them as kind of underdogs always. They have like a more attractive story and to support them than anyone they're against.
Virtus.Pro's turn to ban.
Yeah.
Dire team pick.
Yep.
Ten seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean it's
5 seconds remaining.
yeah. And actually, yes, the winner of this is going to play against Spirit, and Spirit didn't look that convincing yesterday. It's certainly possible for either of these teams to win this match and then go on and come first in the group. I don't think it's a difficult thing to propose at all, depending on how they look in this match. Virtus.Pro, it's a complicated thing. A lot of people think they looked a lot stronger at Epicenter than they did before. I think there's some truth to that. But they also got the wins against Secret and EG, right? I think they won a full match against Secret, they got a game of EG, and those are teams that were not at all on their normal form. Those are teams that really were underperforming, still struggling to find their own identity. So it's easy to if you haven't been paying attention, say, oh wow, they got wins against Secret and EG, but I don't know. Based on the actual quality of their play, they definitely did look better than they did before, but not that much better. So I don't think they're out of range of Power Rangers at all here.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Virtus.Pro's turn to pick.
Slog.
Dire team ban.
There's a new hat for Phoenix. Maybe people like just really don't like it. It's like ugly hats, but you don't have to wear it. So.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yep, I mean, it's here and it's there. It's not. You know, last night I was talking about how Spirit's draft looked like a bit outdated in terms of like the old patch, and the biggest problem there is that they were against what was kind of a perfect example of some of the newer pushing styles and didn't match up well. Whereas in this game, Virtus.Pro, it does look a bit older, but it's neither of these. It's not as much of a problem if you have a fighting oriented draft and the other team doesn't have that scary kind of death ball lineup. So this is actually, if we look at how the drafts match up against each other, neither team has much pushing power at all until their last picks. And it's super interesting because we are in a patch where pushing is naturally more difficult than it was before, and that makes the pushing era stronger. So to see drafts without them puts a lot of emphasis on the fighting. Of course, Invoker adds some push potential, Vengeful Spirit Aura adds some push potential, but we don't have a Lycan, we don't have a Nature's Prophet, we don't have a Lone Druid, none of those heroes really in this game at all yet.
Virtus.Pro's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So the last pick here is surely a support, and it's probably meant to be a support for Virtus.Pro that deals with the bat. That's what I feel. The Night Stalker got banned, which Night Stalker in an indirect way deals with the bat because once he gets the Ags, he has a lot of vision. It's very difficult for a bat to catch you out. Power Rangers intelligently picked the Oracle himself, which is one of the ways. And Venge as well. Early on, they picked both heroes that are like common counters. Yeah, so it's not. I mean, there's an Abaddon still. I don't know if Virtus.Pro like to pick that hero. That does work against the Battle Ulti to some extent. Rubik's not too bad. Shadow Demon can be okay. Legion could work, but then you're running a support Legion, and that's kind of dubious in some respects.
Bounty Hunter.
Oh, okay, so it's not actually a Batrider countering here at all. In some sense, it does make sense that Night Stalker can get vision. If you keep the hero tracked all the time, you have an idea of where the enemies are. Even if it's not the Bat that you have tracked, you see other people around and you have an idea of where they're making a move, because Batrider doesn't usually go for solo kills. But it's certainly not a hero that reacts or counters once Bat catches someone. In some regard, the Lion could do that, I suppose. If he's got a blink tag, he can like blink in and hex the Bat. You don't really get to pull someone that far away. But I think it's more just a proactive pick. Like, we can talk about now this is a reactive pick, but it's more a proactive pick to be aggressive. And Power Rangers, they finish off on the Spectre. So again, by the end of the draft, no team has any kind of deliberate pushing hero designed just to push. And I think this is going to be what people refer to as classic CIS Dota. I don't really appreciate that term anymore because I think CIS Dota has become very diverse, but this will probably be action-packed, constant fighting kind of game.
I'm a little bit surprised, like you, at the lack of dedicated push, but we'll see how it works out. Obviously, we're relatively newly on the patch, less than a month in, and I think a lot of teams are still finding out what works best for them. And going back to kind of old play styles, if you're comfortable, usually makes it work out better for you.
Yep. I'm not sure who's gonna. I'm trying to figure out who's gonna be the aggressor in terms of the early innings stage. Usually expect the bounty hunter team to be that, but I think Power Rangers Draft is slightly more lane and early game orientated overall, even though they're not the ones with the bounty.
Yeah, it's this bounty hunter again. We've seen this before. Has to make a lot happen, and against a puck, sometimes early against the Spectre, just because the spectral dagger and you don't maybe have the damage output you'd want, can be difficult. But depending on how the lane with the Doxia goes, bounty hunter could get a lot done. There, they already see bounty blocking up the camp. Let's do some quick player introductions and then jump right into it. We've got J4 playing that Venge, goddamn, on the hard carry Spectre. Bignum on that support Oracle, Arise on the mid, excited to see what he can do on this tempo controller puck, and Cheshire Cat on the Bat Rider.
Yeah, so on the side of Virtus.Pro, Zara's the stand-in on the mid invoker, No Fear's playing support Lion, Lower Dance and the carry Slark, and the interesting thing for me is the role switch up here. FNG's playing the support Bounty Hunter, Yoku's playing the offlane Doxia, and I know that they have switched their roles a few times in the past, but I wonder recently FNG's been exclusively on the off. Maybe I'm wrong. Have you seen him play support recently?
Yeah, I have actually. He
okay.
Before they were kind of swapping more. It's actually really funny because before the patch and also even in the qualifiers for Manila, they had been swapping around the roles, but it seemed to be more of a, okay, this is a hero I'm really familiar with. So FNG was getting a Bat Rider a lot, but he
does play Doxia, so I don't think it's, yeah.
Well, I think
maybe it's
both
more
of
about the
them
bounty.
Yeah, it could just be more about the bounty. It seems like something they're comfortable with, and also, especially after, this is their first game after Epi. Oh, goodness. So we're gonna see, well, not see, First Blood going down, a nice pick up there. Bounty Hunter, it's just saying, has to get work done.
Sorry, I should have called that out. I just, because we were talking about the bounty, I kind of like assumed that we were both looking at the bounty.
No worries, it is 5 AM here. I think we're allowed to miss one First Blood, but we can't miss any of the rest.
It was a very straightforward kill, and I think they can make that kill over and over in this lane, to be honest. The Slark is really good against bats, both because people always talk about taxing off the napalm stacks, but it's also just, you get the pounce early on in a bat, and the hero's meant to survive in the off lane by being able to fly over things with Firefly, and once you get the pounce, suddenly 3v1, the hero can't do anything. That's what happened there.
But onto what you were saying, I think they're just flexible, and I also think that a lot of teams, after maybe having underwhelming results, especially since I know that FNG tweeted nothing matters except the championship, so I know they're not happy with their result even though they beat some good teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they're saying, hey, let's fiddle with some stuff, we're going to be playing together for a while.
Yeah, I mean, they're still, regardless of what you make of the games and matches that they did win at Epicenter, it's undoubtable that this team is still worse than they were before the shuffle in terms of their achievements, in terms of what they've done. So they do still have more to prove. You know, there are a lot of people who are doubtful about all the changes that Virtus.Pro did make, bringing in 3 new players, and I don't think they've yet justified those changes. I still think there is work to be done for that.
Well, in mid lane, obviously Invoker didn't go Exhort, so Puck is having a blast in this lane. Pretty dominant on the CS, but we'll see if that changes with the Bounty rotation. They actually had the bench kind of hovering in the wings, expecting Bounty to come by faster, but instead J4 just going to go back to stacking.
Okay, FNG takes the level 2 Scotch Janata. They can try and get something done. There's no orb, so...
Yeah, Arise does not have it. A couple more auto attacks. He is going to be able to get away. Orb of Venom, not quite enough. And oof, living on sub 30 health.
Yeah, Puck's orb just cooling down on time.
I mean, just a really nice play by VP to engage then. See the orb down, just go straight for it.
Yeah, so J4 is now headed down to the mid lane. He's going to be standing around getting XP a while the Puck is gone. I wonder if he might lurk around just to try and deal with the bounty hunter. I mean, I see the dust on the Vengeful Spirit. When you buy dust at the start of the game as support, your intention very much is to directly interact with the roaming bounty. You don't plan to like be a part of a different part of the map. But it's quite difficult as a Vengeful Spirit to... The bounty hunter's got... it's much easier to roam around the map and not have the Venge know where you are, but actually bounty's coming straight to Venge now. One is steal some XP from bat farming a stack, and this is pretty big. There's already a Venge that was taking some XP, so definitely slows down the bats leveling a bit.
Not only the bounty hunt is already level 3. Actually pretty impressive. Often trouble that we do have with bounty is even if you find a kill here and there, you just have a lot of trouble finding experience. Bounty looks to steal this last hit, manages to get it there, FNG being a right pain. And again, for a rise in middle has to be careful because Lion's waiting in the wings and Bounty's coming down from above.
Yep, here he comes and already got the 3 as
Oh gosh, he's gonna try to go for the orb out, but he's gonna be hexed up, stunned, and Arise is going down. Eats a fairy fire, but one more attack. No uphill miss for him. And as you said, he will go down. The only saving grace is they're trying to make similar moves on top, but Yoku already getting pretty far away. Where is the magic missile? Will finally come out from the Venge. Spectre trying to get in range. There's the Purifying Flames gonna start healing him up. He eats his own fairy fire, and the Surge away the auto attacks. Not enough.
I think they could have killed. Bignum had access to a second Purifying Flames and chose to go for a right click. I think he felt he needed a right click and a Purifying Flames, and I actually think the Flames would have done the trick there. So there might have been an opportunity to actually make the kill. A little bit unfortunate they don't get it. On the mid lane, Puck is, we were talking about last night, Lion's one of the better heroes to have in your team when you're against a Puck. It really is good at dealing with it, even before you have the... any time that Lion gets a Hex off on a Puck in any kind of fighting situation, if you're the Puck, you start panicking. That's like, the thing that you want least in the world is to be hexed when you're a Puck.
Yeah, I think just an unfortunate situation for Arise. Probably didn't expect the Bounty and the Lion to come down. But let's talk game plans, because we haven't discussed this too much. On both sides, we have a couple of heroes who would maybe prefer to wait a little while before they engage. Slark wants... I actually do not know if Slark will bother with the Shadow Blade or just try to rush up a Blink, considering the changes to Silver's Edge. But you want the mech on the Darkseer, and similarly on PR, Spectre needs a little bit of time to farm, and you particularly want Blinks up on your Batrider and your Puck.
I think, by the you said something about change to Silver. I think that Silver Edge is better for Slark now than it was for. It sounded like you might be hinting that
I think it just got a little nerf having the recipe added back in, right? So.
Oh, okay. You mean that small nerf? Yeah, that's.
It's like there were people who were rushing the Silver's Edge, and then you can take the ultimate orb out, and you would make your Scotty, and then you take your ultimate orb out, and let's say your game needed a Manta, depending on the game, and it does feel like.
Yeah, that's something that's really good about the current build up for Slark. So it does make it attractive. The other thing is the Echo Save has also been bought a lot in this hero recently. So there's a multitude of builds the hero can go for, and it's quite difficult to call out in advance what he's going to prefer. I don't think there's anything specific to the game. I mean, you might say there's less value in going Shadowblade when you're running a Bounty Hunter. That's maybe the one thing that's worth pointing out. Although teams very often do anyway go for Shadowblades when they have other invisibility. We see people drafting Bounty Hunter and Clinks together. That happened last night. So it's not like a hard and fast rule, oh, we have one Invis hero, we won't get anything else with Invis.
I also think it's a lot easier to be the Slark against the Bounty Hunter because of that Dark Pack that we've talked about, so... Interestingly, Batrider already has Windlace. I like this a lot. Just full mobility.
Yeah, like, it gives them an opportunity. It's the same way when you see Legion Commanders going phase boots early, opportunity to get a duel even before you have Blink. It's the same for Bat. You have Tranquils and Windlace, you might catch people with Lasso even before you get to your Blink. So that's nice.
Back into it, Arise doing good work. He's trying to catch back up. The Invoker, despite getting the kill, isn't too far ahead just because of Puck's great CSing. So, gonna be able to work to catch back up. And Spectre definitely has had some trouble with the Darkseer up in that top lane, but now Darkseer is off, trying to find a few things. So getting some freedom up there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like earlier in the game, because you have a Bounty Hunter and a Darkseer, I feel like PR just expected that the Bounty would be top from the beginning all the time, and he's hardly actually been there. And I think that's kind of gotten in their heads. He's gotten a lot done because they played around the expectation. I was saying, you know, Venge started with Dust. They thought the Bounty would come to them, and they'd just get a kill on him. But it turns out they're gonna have to move into him, and I think he's gonna break their smoke now. Let's see how quickly they react.
Yeah, oh goodness, he broke their smoke, as he said, sold them all. The reaction just not fast enough. Even if it were, I'm not sure, just because of the tree being there. Well, they throw the dust out now, and it's just gonna be nowhere near. FNG just wandering away, and as you said, completely ruins their attempt at evening up this mid lane.
Yeah, so both Dust's used now, and not a single kill on the Bounty. Bounty's a hero that often throws itself into dangerous positions. We always talk about how it's not that big when it dies because it's part of its job to get those early deaths, and the fact that you're not able to get the deaths when you've used 2 deaths already, I think that's definitely a point in favor of Virtus.Pro and a point in favor of FNG.
Additionally, the sentries in top and mid. I'm a little surprised they were expecting the bounty to be top so much, because as you pointed out, well, obviously bounty has found other rotations, but also running into a 3v1 or 3v2 seems less advantageous. I think though that maybe PR were expecting to have more trouble with the Dogs here. They did get low a couple of times in that top lane.
Yeah, but I don't know, they have a Oracle against the Doxer, which is supposed to handle it really well. It should be difficult for the Spectre to go low, but I don't know, in my head, if the Bouncy and the Doxer are both there right from the beginning, that lane's very, very difficult, and you do have to have 3 heroes and dust.
That Rider in the bottom lane looking to be going down. Cheshire Cat will fall, really aggressively cutting the bottom creep wave when they had no vision of where the supports were from VP.
Yeah, so VP have an early gold lead and XP lead, and I think at this point the XP lead is much more significant, because what it really amounts to is that if you look at the hero levels, the Lion and the Bounty Hunter are both nearly level 6. Oracle's almost there, but Oracle's level 6 is actually not that big in this game. It's like, you know, if the enemy team at the bat, it would change things. And Venge is super underleveled and not having a game impact just yet. Like, the only reason Venge has value is because at the time Puck went to base and Puck died, Venge came in, like, leached some XP. The hero hasn't actually achieved anything yet.
I think as well what's scary is the fact that Slock is 1,500 gold ahead of the next person almost. That's a really big lead coming out there, and obviously Slock is a hero who can do quite a bit. The lead like that already has the Midas up to finish the Aquila. Interestingly, Invoker as well finished off the phase boots before going for the Midas. I think also expecting, as you talked about, those smoke gank rotations.
Yeah, and if you're Quadrix Invoker, you kind of need the phase boots just to get the CS thing going. It helps lots, the progression. With Lion being level 6 now, I think we will see Nofa use the smoke soon and go for a kill. Lion's level 1 ulti has a pretty long cooldown, and it almost always guarantees a kill. So you want to use it as soon as possible so that you can get it cooling down for the next time as well.
Oh, immediately Spectre's Haunt comes out. They finally get the dust onto the Bounty Hunter. They'll find this pick-off. And we'll see if they actually realize, yes, they realized that there were enemies smoked as well because of how the Spectre Haunt went. So a really nice play there, just coincidentally fantastic timing from PR.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2 sets of sentries and dusts to finally kill a bounty. That's not that big, but the fact that they judge the gank is coming, that's the bigger deal actually. I mean, Invoker's not showing a lane, should be obvious, but Spectre's still in trouble.
Yep, gonna get fingered down there, immediately brought down. That was a track kill as well. Puck coming in too little too late. And even if Puck gets something to happen here, we'll be 1 against the world. Just doesn't quite have that catch. Throws out the orb, thinking of going in here. Drops the Dream Coil onto Invoker, but immediately the TP out. Venge, can you get in range? No, she can't. And that'll just be the escape, even though Cheshire Cat has the blink. Oh, there's the lasso coming out onto Yoku. Yoku does not have a way out here, taking a lot of damage. They get the stun off, so there will be no surge away. And at least PR finds something.
Yeah, it's important as well. It's Puck's blink timing. It's pretty early. It's good for them, but very curious that the Spectre dies there. I mean, you made the exact point that before had ping dart shown on the map that that's where the Invoker and Lion are. The Invoker wasn't showing in lane. It was pretty obvious from Bounty's because of the smoke coming in, so a little bit sloppy maybe from PR that they still lose the one hero, but they get the trade, but it's not a positive trade for them, right? It's a track kill and Spectre's more important than the Ducks here. So Virtus.Pro went out there still, and okay, J4 has come through, placed this high ground ward. We'll see FNG, we'll see No Fear, and that's pretty good information actually for power this top lane. And they also saw Lion TPing out, so that's, you know, Cheshire Cat knows he needs to go back. He's also got his blink, by the way, and Bats have their blinks, so this is a timing for Power Rangers. I feel like every time Spectre has Haunt, Power Rangers are going to want to fight at this stage because they have the 2 blinks, and this is definitely meant to be what your owns online on your Spectre, you have your 2 blinks, this is meant to be their first sort of key timing in terms of what they can do.
I think as well, they have to make something happen. You already talked about it, but Bounty Hunter, again, we're seeing this match like yesterday's in StarLadder. Bounty Hunter getting that level 6 very early, comparatively. Right, we used to be kind of content with the Bounty Hunter getting a 14-minute level 6. It wasn't great, but understanding that with the flow of the game, it sometimes took that long. And he's already level 7, 2.5 minutes, so... Additionally, freeing up some mid lane action for the Lion. It looks
Big
like
Gnome just used another dust. Oh.
Okay, there we go. They are jumping in onto the Bounty Hunter. Can he get him to the low ground? No, he can't, so the team can't come in. Spectre goes in anyway. There's another dust coming through. Doxy's going to try to help out, but it won't be enough despite the wall. And Yoku has to run away. They've actually caught the Invoker out here. The stun flies on. There will be an EMP. Oh, Venge getting very, very low, and two sides of the fight being a complete mess. Looks like Venge is being sacrificed. Big Gnome will go down as well. Goddamn, just going to fly away. Oh, thinking about coming back in, but that's a spectral dagger to leave, and Big Gnome finally falls.
This is like a constant trend we keep seeing. Teams commit far too much to kill just a bounty hunter, and it's just not worth it. They actually use like 2 or 3 dusts in that fight. Early on there was some missing. There was at least one that I saw missed. And they jump onto him, but like they're not all there. It takes a lot of a commitment to finally pick him off, and then their team is behind enemy lines, having used a lot of spells, and all they've done is kill the bounty hunter. It's just... This is part of why the hero is so irritating, because it feels like it gets too much value if it just stands around getting all those tracks off, spamming shurikens. But it also gets too much value in some ways if you have to commit lots of things to taking it off at the start of a fight.
Yeah, we've been seeing in other matches a lot of folks banning out the bounty hunter early on, and as you said, that's why, right?
Well, there's a gem, so... The Cheshire Cat decides the economic cost at least needs to stop. Instead of buying tons of dusts and sentries, we'll just have a gem and we'll back ourselves to the bounty.
Now, it's not unusual for Batrider to pick up a gem, but usually it comes after the Force Staff. Obviously, with that flying vision from the Firefly, we got Goddamn in a lot of trouble. They are going in here. There's going to be the Pounce landing again. Goddamn getting a little bit of help from Big Gnome with that magic resistance, and Pup comes in, Drink Wheel onto 2, but it rises, no more mana, and Finger will finish off the Spectre. Tornado now coming through for the Invoker. EMP dropped on the deck. J4 taking that Cold Snap will lose all of his mana, and he goes down on that Venge. Big Gnome now in trouble as well, and the track, it is just VP rolling all over them. Big Gnome will eventually fall here. Gonna take literally forever and a day, but welcome to False Promise.
Yeah, this is very, very bad for Power Rangers, because this is happening, these past 2 fights are happening as they hit their strongest early timing. It's, you know, the Spectre had and Drum, the Pack and the Bat had their Blink Daggers, and they aren't really, you know, that's what you need to look at when a team's really struggling. Look at what's going to be the big change that turns things around. And they don't have any other, like, nearby timings in sight. I mean, there's some potential for them to just, like, get a few pickoffs or have a favorable fight because something goes better. But at the current rates of things, they are very, very drastically falling out of the game. They had one more fight that has the same kind of motion that these last 2 have, and I would say that it's all but Virtus.Pro's game. And
well, speaking of another fight, Tornado out on to Cheshire Cat, taking a lot of damage here. EMP will wreck through that mana, but there's the stun, manages to get the lasso off on the Invoker. Spectre's here now as well with that Haunt. They picked up the Lion, and they might be able to get the Invoker a couple more auto attacks. Yes, they can. Before he's able to get that invis off, and now Aloha Dance has been dusted up. There is the Fortune's End, actually ends up missing. Will they find Aloha Dance, so... They will not. A nice. Okay, yeah, he is looking for the puck, but the heal up. He'll be forced to pop that Shadow Dance, and they are still chasing. Aloha Dance may finally go down here after that really nice dog pack to get rid of both the Fortune's End and the Dust. Still,
it's very greedy of him. It was very greedy of him to actually turn and try and make that kill. And it's actually the play before that leads into this is. Oh, they're chasing FNG. I think they probably get FNG here too. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the vision with the gem. It's not going to be so easy to escape that. FNG knocked backwards, taking a lot of damage, and finally the Purifying Flames to finish him off.
So I like this so much, actually. I mean, obviously in hindsight it's easier to say it's good, but they take a risk buying the gem this early, and Batrider took a risk jumping into that play. It was actually initially 1v2 with just the Spectre hunting into 2v2. And if there had been other enemies nearby, other Virtus.Pro heroes nearby, the game would probably be over. They would have like lost one too many fights, Power Rangers would be out. But that's a risk you just need to take. They're in a position where without taking risks, there wasn't really a route for them back into the game. They take the appropriate risk, they get a bunch of kills, and Virtus.Pro help them out with a few extra afterwards. And it really, like, that's the kind of thing you have to do in this situation. Is sometimes teams have a tendency to, like, when they're far behind, try and play even more safe than usual. And I think it should be the opposite. Like, the further behind you are, the bigger risk you need to take to try and give yourself a chance.
Well, VP, on the other hand, do not want to give them any of that breathing room you talked about. That was a 4,000 gold swing in favor of PR, but it's not enough. They were 10,000 gold behind. They managed to jump away from the track, but both Vend and Batrider in horrible positions. There's a false promise coming out. Really nice timing on that. A dream pool onto all three of them. And Puck trying to do what he can, but he doesn't have any mana. Constantly out of mana. We will see the Batrider go down. Oracle just trying to say goddamn, but goddamn is out. And the courier too! He's gonna fall there, sadly dead to the ground.
Yeah, it's... I think Goddamn should never have been trying to recover the gem there. I think he might have been able to get out, but he runs back in to pick up the gem when the bat dies, and that's one of the situations where you gotta cut your losses. Like, sure, it's devastating losing the gem, you bought it very recently, you've been taking risks, but part of taking risks is accepting that sometimes they don't pay off. Okay, they got our bats, they got the gem, it's too bad. You can't really afford to be making it even worse for yourselves than losing your carry at the same time.
Aloha has also finished up the Silver's Edge, so whoever he jumps on has that 50% less damage now, which of course applies to all damage output, not just physical. So suddenly the damage for PR looking hard. We already talked about taking some risks as the way PR gets back into this, but what else do you think for them? It's stack it all on the Spectre. Obviously a lot of teams like to play 4 in one place Spectre at the ready to haunt in, but that seems really scary against a Bounty Hunter and a Slock.
Yeah, I mean, they could try and, like, next level it and appear to have Spectre one place and have everyone else smoke behind Spectre using it as bait. The moment they're going for pick off on Yoko, the bot lane, they're going to get him. One route is tier 1s. All of the Virtus.Pro's tier 1s are still up, so there's a lot of resources on the map for PR to collect if they can find opportunities to take down those tier 1s. Unfortunately, as we said before, they have pretty poor heroes at killing towers. So, you know, there's some... At this stage in the game, sometimes teams can, like, just 5 smoke up to a tier 1 and it doesn't have backdoor protection and just kill it like that, and it's difficult for the enemy team to TP in. But that sort of play doesn't really work if none of your heroes are very effective at actually taking the tower down.
Yeah. Additionally, it is a little bit scary here for PR. They are almost 14,000 gold behind, 10,000 experience. So, got a lot of ground to catch up on. Luckily, as we saw last time, they took a risk. Oh, here we go. There's going to be a blink in by Puck. Dreamflare onto the lasso. Looks like it should be a very quick pick on the Invoker, and that's pretty good. Yule's up into the air to dodge that Earth Spike, and the vacuum back really underwhelming, but Arise in trouble again with the Slock. False Promise comes out. Arise should get healed up here, but now Big Num in a lot of trouble. There's the track coming out, speeding up the Slock. Will die to that Shuriken. A swap attempt away from the Venge. There's a nice flame break, but Cheshire Cat needs to get on out of here. Arise was healed back up to full. Does have orbs aplenty. Finger going out onto the Batrider. Can he get the blink off in time? It's not looking like it. There's an earn charge on him. Hexed up. Shuriken to follow, and Slock gonna come in and finish the job.
Yeah, this game has gotten to a point where Slock can do whatever he wants, and that's, like, a truly frightening sign for Power Rangers. Like, the one time that they killed him, he was being pretty greedy himself. Going in kind of 1d5, 2 of his heroes were dead. As long as that's not happening, as long as, like, there's some allies there, there's very little for Lodons to be afraid of. They actually can't really control him, and Slock is one of the most dangerous heroes to be in that position where you could do whatever you want and not be that afraid of going down.
Well, down bottom, we've got TPs aplenty coming in. Puck manages to silence up the Invoker, but now Lion is behind, doesn't have Finger, but doesn't need it. Just so much damage coming out of that duo, and VP applying the pressure in top lane as well.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah. Game is hard. Look, if Spectre's the kind of hero that benefits a lot from the few consecutive teamfight wins, and there are still tier 1s to take down if they do win fights, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that PR, if they manage to put together a couple of good fights, they could pull back into this game, but
Oh,
they're
they're
gonna
going
try.
for one. They've got the Bounty Hunter dusted up. They're giving it a go. They will finally kill off the Bounty Hunter. They've got the lasso on the Invoker as well. They've been doing a really good job of picking him off. Last few auto attacks will get it. Oracle is already down though, and J4 tracked up. There is no escape here for the Venge. Tries to swap into the trees, but won't quite be enough. Batrider as well has slunked deeper into the trees. Looks like Pressure Cat will be getting out of this one alive.
Yeah, every time PR are finding kills, it's because the Slark's not there. And because he's a Slark, he gets there very quickly. So as soon as a fight breaks out, you know, he's not a Spectre, he can't hold in, but he runs there pretty fast, and PR can't get the kills and get out quickly enough. Then Slark arrives, they've used a whole lot of stuff already, and just he obliterates everyone, just abuses the fact they're all tracked, and does whatever he wants.
But still, it's a win. It's something for PR, and as you said, the Spectre, maybe a couple of fights off of the back of a nice haunt in, you know, just 3 of those, and suddenly you're sitting pretty on 2,000 gold or so. Also,
Yeah, but
Spectre...
I mean, you want them to win 3 fights, and it's quite difficult for them to win 1 fight right now. I really think we are at the point where Virtus.Pro, if they play tight, probably shouldn't be able to lose this game.
Definitely.
It doesn't mean, you know, it's not like PR should just give up. This is like a very real part of any Dota match. You play to your strengths. You kind of like PR what they need to do, put themselves in positions where if there are mistakes from Virtus.Pro, then you punish them. And the most basic kind is just positioning mistakes. So if they don't group up now, if Virtus.Pro split up around the map, then you can't get picked up from them. If they keep grouped up for the rest of the game, it's gonna be a lot more difficult for PR to do anything. And Virtus.Pro seem to acknowledge that, group up as 5 and go for a smoke player. They kind of know, as long as they're all together, there isn't really much chance of them losing a fight at all.
Well, the smoke comes out from VP. They're going to actually catch out the Bounty Hunter, but this is a trap. Tornado goes wide. Dream Coil onto 2. Batrider grabs up, no fear, taking a lot of damage here. The vacuum back through the wall, and suddenly it's PR on the back foot. Arise trying to get out. Goddamn, will manage to kill off 1. Can he find anything else, or even just get himself away cleanly? There's a Slark on his tail. Goddamn, trying to hide around in the trees. Doesn't have another Spectral Dagger. Just gonna go for the TP out. Manages to get it. Cold Snap on... Oh. You just didn't see him in time. Must have been coming off of CD.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like they could have done a lot better with that fight. But again, the fight starts pretty well for PR. Bounty Hunter wanders into their whole team. They're able to kill him very early. Of course, it's not a huge deal to kill Bounty Hunter, but the fact that they can start a fight with like a free kill. But it's still ultimately a win for Virtus.Pro, I feel. And that's one of the sort of best case scenario looking situations for Power Range. Okay, slightly better would be if they split up, I guess, but okay, here we go, low dance, backlines, free kill, Vengeful Spirit. And this is what, like, when Slark gets to points in the game where he just doesn't feel at risk, then he's just so deadly. He's just like, he can so quickly pick people off. When he's in fights, if he doesn't have to worry about dying, he gets crazy stacks built up really quickly. And I don't think that's one problem that Power Rangers don't really have a response to. Like, how... If they're sitting in TeamSpeak discussing, you know, what do we do to handle Slark? Are we supposed to try and kill him? Are we supposed to try and just kite him or avoid him? I don't think any of those plans are really workable.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, this Slark hasn't had a lot of deaths. He only actually has 4 kills, but that's because a lot of them have been going the way of other heroes. 14 kill involvement. The Slark has been involved in all but 3 kills across his team, and doing a really great job, as you said, going behind enemy lines, setting things up. Spectre in trouble in the bottom lane. Goddamn, taking the stun. A few more auto attacks will bring down the Spectre.
Yeah, and this is often you alluded to it earlier, if teams try and split 4-1 when they're playing Spectre so they can haunt into fights, often what you see is the enemy team just gank into the Spectre himself, and it's not like the other 4 heroes can haunt towards the Spectre.
It's especially scary here too, because you're up against a Slark and a Bounty Hunter, 2 very aggressive heroes. The Invoker as well, able to set up those pickups. There's not an easy solution here. And PR, they're trying to get some damage out. They understand that they need to get these quick pickups, so their puck has gone through the Dagon, but I'm unsure if it's enough at this point. Either way, they're doing the best they can with the position they're in.
Yeah, I think we're... Assuming Virtus.Pro take the next fight, we're probably 1 fight away from something like a GG call. If PR can bring out a good fight, changes things a little bit. But if Virtus.Pro were to take a very convincing fight at this stage in the game, that would probably be that. It's like the point of no return where PR really do need to put some kind of like, apply some kind of pressure or, you know, force the handbrake from Virtus.Pro something.
Well, they've already got a nice hype coming out of the docks here, so Puck isn't as scary. And we'll see for Invoker, probably working up on that sheep next. Could be a Lincoln's possibly, not wanting to have to worry about getting grabbed by this Bat Rider all the time.
Here comes the smoke. Yoku would be a pretty good pick-off if they can kill him without him doing anything.
Yep. They're looking for it, trying to get this kill. A big silence out onto all of them. Yoku getting very, very low, but immediately the Guardian Greaves to back him back into the wall, and a low hard dodge beginning to go to town on them. A nice swap away, but he's just going to eat through your Revenge. They've lost the Oracle as well. Spectre getting very low on the sidelines, is tracked up here, will try to get back into the base. Shuriken won't quite be enough. And Puck as well going to go for the TP out. Would have been a nice kill to get it on Yoku, but no way, that guy's too tanky.
Yeah, I mean, they caught him with the lasso. They had 5 euros on him. They could use whatever they wanted, and he just lived through the disable. Managed to use his pipe, managed to use his Greaves. Didn't really come that close to dying. Slark, I think, in a kind of similar position. Even if they catch him out, very possibly can't kill him before he manages to get his pact or his Sylvage or his ulti off. And it's super worrying for PR because this, again, it's like, that's kind of dream come true. When you're in a situation like this, the enemy team gives you an opportunity to pick someone off before the fight starts. And if you can't even do that, it's difficult to say what you are supposed to do.
Again, PR on the back foot. On the upside, while you don't get much farm when you're in your base, obviously a bit harder to make mistakes like getting picked off, but they are 20,000 network behind 15,000 experience. That we're getting close to insurmountable leads.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, to be honest, the reason that this game is not over yet is just because Virtus.Pro don't really have like a high ground pushing lineup. So they're gonna keep fighting, kind of trying to force them into submission. Speaking of which,
yeah, yep. Finger coming out onto Cheshire Cat in a lot of trouble. Nice swap away from J4, but the back and back puts them pretty much in the same position. Cheshire Cat will fall. J4 is gonna go down as well. Kind of the only saving grace there is I think only one of those were track kills.
Yeah, if Virtus.Pro had one slightly more direct pushing hero, they definitely would have gone high ground by now, because they definitely had the advantage enough where they could. But where you're sort of, I mean, Invoker's like alright at pushing, but it's not cross Exort, so he doesn't have Forge Spirits, and where your push is basically just Slark with Axe going, yeah, okay, they're gonna call it. But the point I'm trying to make is just because of the composition they have, they recognize there's not really anything for PR to do. They can keep getting further and further ahead, and there isn't a natural way for them to high ground, so why not just beat them into submission? And that's what they essentially do in the end.
I think very cleanly and well played from VP. Obviously, PR have to go back to the drawing board some.
Maybe FNG's the only player on his team with the battle pass.
Hey, they're not all as hyped maybe. They just want to wait a little bit. Wait till they're